Hey everyone, Pocky here, and I wanted to do a quick video so that there's no ambiguity on any of my positions or thoughts on anything regarding the drama recently. So, if you guys don't know, this sort of arose out of the whole G2 Andrew Tate situation, which Sun and Nina covered very well in their video, which I will link in the description below. I don't know if I can do it here. I don't know how, but they explain it better than I can. And I agree with everything that they said. I brought up a point that they did mention 98% of the player base in Hearthstone was men, which I don't know the numbers. They've never really been publicly released as far as I know. And, you know, we don't really have much stats on the demographics of the game in general, which would be great to have, but we don't have them. But my thoughts was that, at least personally in my community, I think that women make up more than 2% of it. And so I was discussing that, and my only point to discussing with it was that, I thought the number was interesting. We don't have any numbers, so any numbers that are out there are based on limited sample size or metrics, and only Blizzard can really tell us what the player base is. Sun did bring up on Twitter that 99% of the player base of the viewership on YouTube, as reported, is male, and that is true. That is true. That's true for this channel as well. I don't know, how those metrics generally work, but it's true here. It's like 98, 99%. And it's true for most channels that I'm aware of. Almost always north of 95%, which she brought up and is also true. I think that regardless of the number, the important thing is to not be dismissive of the issue, right? I think that some people might look at and say, oh, well, if the community is 98, 99% male, then why are we making such a big deal about, making sure women feel welcomed? And the reason is because it establishes the culture, even if whether it is or isn't the actual number, it's about establishing a culture of being welcoming for everyone, women included. And I feel very strongly about that. And I've tried to show that in the past with, everything I do on the stream, from including women, making sure they're incorporated to my community, my stream. I've hosted a women's tourney, which is an interesting one. That's a difficult one. And I spent a lot of time, like literally months, thinking about whether or not I should do that. And I ended up doing it because I feel like it's important to create spaces where women can feel like they can join the game and join the community, and take part in these things without feeling some of the pressure they might otherwise. It's a difficult thing, and I still don't know the answer for it, but that was my reasoning for doing that. And I think that is important, and that's why it's important that when you look at something like the Andrew Tate situation, partying with the CEO of G2, it's important to say, no, that's not okay, because we need to create spaces everywhere so that women do feel welcome in the game. And, any sex, gender, race, religion, sexuality, any of those things, we need to make our community welcoming to them, because it will make us a better community, period. I'm sure of that. It's the right thing to do. And it helps grow the game. Like anything else, we want the game to grow. Like we want more people to come in. There's no reason to exclude people. Different perspectives, different ways of thinking, different, strictly more brains thinking about the game expands it. It's better, right? Human evolution is based on genetics, which are about creating diversity. We should be creating diversity to grow and evolve. That's like a natural phenomenon. And so we should be fostering a more diverse community. You don't want, just young people, just old people, just men. We want everyone. We want everyone to be a part of it. I want everyone to be a part of it. That's what makes me happy to be a part of this community. And so, yeah, I just wanted to make it clear that we should do everything in our ability to make anyone feel welcome. And anyone that doesn't, anyone that espouses rhetoric that might feel anyone feel unwelcome, shouldn't be a part of our community. I really believe you can say it's cancel culture or anything like that. I don't really care. I think that at a certain point, if that rhetoric is damaging or hateful or uninclusive, you shouldn't be welcome, which is a bit ironic. But if we are going to foster that culture, I think it's necessary. I think esports has struggled with it a long time. And the reason why the numbers are even interesting to me is that I think in a lot of cases in the past, that has been a driving factor. We've seen that there are certain members of the community that are welcomed back because they were really good at the game, because they brought in a lot of money, because they had a lot of viewers. It happens in sports too. And if you guys don't know, I'm really passionate about sports. The NFL has a huge problem with this. Like, players, coaches, other personnel will take actions and get light punishments or no punishments, and people don't care to out them from the game. And I think it's a serious issue. Deshaun Watson being a really recent example of something that's just kind of a disgusting outcome. And I don't think you want that same thing to happen in esports. I don't think you want that same thing to happen in Hearthstone. At least I don't. If you don't, I'm glad. If you do, you need to reevaluate why you would ever think that. So those are my thoughts. I think it's important. I'm not going to try and publicize this video or anything. I just wanted to talk about it because I do care pretty deeply about this issue. And I want to be outspoken and like make my point clear. One of the points that Nina and Sun made was that too many people remain silent about these things. I tweeted about it yesterday. I think the CEO should be removed. I think it puts all the personnel at G2 in a difficult spot where, at least for the streamers, part of that has to do with their livelihood. And so they have to grapple with that sort of ethical dilemma of being supportive versus, looking out for their own livelihood. And I think that's difficult. And a way to solve that is to remove the conundrum from the situation, which is the CEO who, by his actions, clearly doesn't give a shit about any of it, which I don't think is what we want in the community. So I think that I'm not a big streamer, I'm not a big influencer or personality, but I wanted to be clear, and I want to encourage, anyone who feels the same to be outspoken about the issue so that sponsors, teams, other personalities know that it's important, know that they should speak up too. If you're, anytime you see something that would make someone feel unwelcome, you should call it out. Whether it's in chat, in a stream, whether it's something bigger like this and calling it out on Twitter, you should be vocal about it. Whether you're a man, woman, or whatever you identify as, we should feel the ability to speak our mind and let people know that that sort of ideology or thinking isn't something that's going to be tolerated in our community. So, yeah. Hope this explained any thoughts I might had. Yeah. As always, peace.